I'm Amanda Leitner, and welcome to Rochester Rising, where we amplify the stories of Rochester entrepreneurs. Welcome to episode 121 of the podcast today. So today we have some brand new intro and exit music. Thought it was time to change it up once you get to episode 121. So this week we're checking in with the latest 1 Million Cups Rochester. So 1 Million Cups is a national event developed by the Cofounder Foundation. It occurs in communities across the United States, 180 different communities at 9 a.m. local time on a weekly or monthly basis on Wednesday. And in every community, the event starts at 9 a.m. local time, and two different entrepreneurs get up and share their stories and ask the community for help on a specific item relating to their business development. So last week, we heard from two different entrepreneurs in the community. The first was Jeff Chambers of Guardian Athletics, a sports safety company, and Chris Schad, co-owner of the Bee Shed. So two very different startups operating in two very different spaces, which is the beauty of 1 Million Cups Rochester. All right, so now on to the stories with Jeff and Chris. So first up will be Jeff Chambers, founder and CEO of Guardian Athletics.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Jeff Chambers. I'm the founder and CEO of Guardian Athletics. My trade is I'm a certified athletic trainer, which means I've spent 35 years providing healthcare for student athletes, the majority of those at the college level. And the last 18 years, I was at Minnesota State University in Mankato. I was a head athletic trainer for 16, and my last 2 years, I was an assistant athletic trainer. But welcome to Million Cups. This is really great. I've been to presented at a couple of these, and it's very, very, to me, interesting organization and what they're doing for small businesses and startups. So thank you for being here. We have a problem in sports, concussions. Everybody's heard the concussion dilemma, big problem in football. And at Guardian Athletics, we have the solution, Kato Collar. That is my collar, the shoulder pads here in a little bit, and I'm going to explain to you what it does. The problem with concussion is that people think it occurs on impact. Concussions occur when you think about it, the brain moves inside the skull. That's how they occur. So that brain's twisting and moving. The force that hits it when you have helmet to helmet causes the brain to move. It moves toward the hit, and then the helmet releases. After that, the helmet can do nothing for a concussion. And the research is showing that there's more of a causal factor of concussions from movement of the head than on contact. And that is why I designed this collar to slow down the helmeted head. So how do we do that? Basically, we have innovative design. Guardian Athletics, my company, is an innovation-driven sports safety company, and our flagship product is Kato, designed to slow down the helmeted head. So after somebody gets a hit, and I'm going to try to show you how we work. Some of you have seen collars before, but this collar, if you look at it, you want to hold that, Dave? This is my partner, Dave Norris. He's my chief operating officer. If you look at it from the side and from the front, it sits flat. So we had designed a collar which allows for full active range of motion, but we're limiting the motion when it goes past that and not letting it whip to the extreme. Thanks. And so everybody's seen whiplash concussions. Those also occur. If you watch football, you'll see people that get concussions that don't ever get hit in the head. Their head whips and they're out. I saw 3 of them this year where their head whipped and they were out before they hit the ground. So that's our unique design to allow for that full range of motion. Let's see. I'm going to show you this. That is our testing. Top vision is with the collar. Bottom one is without the collar. That head went farther on the bottom because there's no collar which slowed it down. And you notice by the time that helmet caught up with it. I'm going to see if I can play that again. Whoops.
Go back on this line. There you go.
Now hit it again and it should go. There we go. So watch the bottom one. The bottom helmet goes farther. You see how it tucks more? Comes back. The bottom helmet will catch up with the top helmet by the time they get around, which means it's moving at a faster velocity and it accelerates faster. And that is what our technology is designed to do, is slow down that helmeted head. And we basically do it 3 ways. It doesn't travel as far, so it doesn't reach its maximum velocity. With our collar, we designed it for a 2-stage deceleration process. So it hits the pad, which absorbs it, and then the collar slightly flexes. With testing, we got up to 30% deceleration. We went to market in August this year, and our collar was utilized in 40 out of 64 of the Power 5 conference universities. We ended up on 7 NFL teams. Our first collar that we took to market was a large collar that fits into all large through triple extra large shoulder pads, agnostic with all the brands. We are in the process right now of designing a small medium collar so we can fit it on all high school football players. Some of them wear a little bit smaller pads than the large. We fit most college, university, and NFL players. So we were there. We have a board of advisors. Rich Gannon's on our board of advisors. Rich, 17-year NFL veteran. Most people from Minnesota know who he is. And 14-year CBS analyst. And Les Pico is director of player development for the Minnesota Vikings. And then Charles Ladonio is former director of spine research, Department of Orthopedics at the University of Minnesota, and now he works for a company in Philadelphia as their research director. What we need, what we're looking for right now, and what we do, we have a team. We have a marketing team. We have a team of employees. Dave is my CEO. We have a sales director, product engineer, and like I said, a board of advisors. And we're in the process of raising our next round of capital. We went and proved our concept this fall.
So next up is Chris Schad of the Bee Shed.
So my name is Chris Schad. I'm a co-founder and co-owner of the Bee Shed. My business partner, John Shanyo, is back there. So he's the brains behind the operation. So just a little bit about our business. We produce and sell honey. We do pollination services, and we actually sell bees. We are a specific benefit corporation, or a B Corp, if you will. Our public benefit missions are promotion and development of pollinator habitat, education of the general public about bees and pollinator habitat, and the mentorship of new or novice beekeepers. What that means is we put some of our time and our energy and our money into the promotion of our public benefit. Last year, as an example, in 2018, we drove about 1,000 miles to provide 36 classes or presentations. We hit about 1,100 people over the year with our presentations. We've got about 1,000 followers on Facebook. We're not quite there yet, but if everybody in this room were to follow us on Facebook, we would get to 1,000. So I get the question a lot, what is involved in beekeeping? And we tend to divide the world into hobby beekeepers and business people, beekeepers. So for the hobbyists on the left, the beekeeping year starts in April and ends in September for the most part. For commercial beekeepers, they have that as well, but then they also have other things that they're doing. In the fall, they're preparing their bees for springtime pollination, and they're hauling their bees out to California. And from January, February, and March, their bees are out in California pollinating almond crops. And that's actually what's happening right now. And then for those commercial beekeepers that are also bottling and selling honey, that's a year-round thing. They're doing that all 12 months out of the year. The Bee Shed is somewhere in between the two. We do a lot of those things, but not at the scale of commercial operations. So a little bit about the market itself and in the industry. In terms of production versus demand, demand for honey is exceeding supply. So the United States is a net importer of honey. Rising retail prices, no surprise, demand is exceeding supply, so retail prices are going up. And this is a really interesting one most people aren't really familiar with, but pollination services, the cost or the price of doing pollination services is going up. It's really hard to see the numbers, but this goes from $135 per colony up to $195 per colony in the last 10 years. So at $195 per colony, 10 and 15,000 colonies out to California for almond pollination. So I can't do that math, but there's a lot of zeros and commas in there. So that looks like a good place to start a business. This is a little bit of a synopsis of what we do. Almond pollination, we sent our bees out to California. We put them on a little trailer. They got put onto a big trailer. They got hauled out to California. This is what the almond groves in California look like right now. It's horizon to horizon almond trees that are in bloom. We also sell bees in the springtime. That's John there. So hobby beekeepers, if they need new bees in the spring, they come in a caged box. And so we're selling bees right now. In another month, give or take, we'll be delivering those bees, or they'll be picking those bees up from us. That's part of what we do. The bulk of our business is producing and selling honey. So our honey is raw, minimally processed. We don't filter it. We don't strain it. What you get is what the bees get. It's not pasteurized. Because it contains the pollen, it tends to crystallize a little bit sooner, so we bottle on demand. I was up at, this is what you do when you have a side hustle. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning bottling honey for orders that came in from stores. And John's going to schlep it to the stores tomorrow. So it's the honey that we put on store shelves is right out of the bottling tank. Our honey has a unique flavor from every yard it comes from because it reflects the flowers that the bees are visiting within 5 miles. So it actually has an odor, a bouquet to it, and it has a flavor to it, and it has a color to it that's unique to the yard that it comes from. So a little bit of the history of our business. We incorporated as an LLC in 2013, and the original business was actually manufacturing beekeeping equipment. We were making boxes and selling them to beekeepers. In 2014, we started selling honey. In 2015, we started selling bee manufacturing because we couldn't keep up when we became a distributor for a large company. And then in 2016, and John joined the business in 2015, and then my original partner Ed left the business in 2016. 2017 is when we converted to a specific benefit corporation. 2018, we started sending bees out to California for pollination contracts. Now this year, we're not doing equipment sales at all. We're just focusing on honey production and bee production and the almond pollination. This year, we're going to run about 130 colonies of bees. The typical hobbyist, by the way, runs about 2 or 3 colonies. We're going to be running 130 colonies this year, give or take. So we should end up with about 15 barrels of honey by the end of the summer, assuming all goes well. These are some of our customers. This is a partial list, past and present. These are the stores, the restaurants, the bars, the coffee shops that are using our honey. It's all regional, mostly around Rochester. We do a lot of education. That's part of our B Corp work that we do. Eagle Bluff, I'm scheduled to be there on Saturday. John was just in Red Wing last Saturday, so we do a lot of beekeeping classes, and this is just a partial list. And then we do direct-to-consumer sales through events. We were a vendor for the first time at Thursdays on First last year. It was a really good place for us to be. It's a lot of work, but it's a good place to be. We would do more of these, but summertime we're pretty busy running colonies, and then some of us have a day job, so that kind of keeps me busy too. So some things we haven't figured out related to bees. It's hard to keep bees alive these days. There's a mite. There's chemicals that are in the landscape that are impacting colony health. It's not unusual to lose 25 to 50% of your colonies as a beekeeper. That means it would be the equivalent of a dairy herd losing half their cows, right? So it's hard to maintain your profitability. There's changing land practices, so the amount of honey that a colony of bees produces is dropped significantly. So that would be the remaining cows that you have are producing less milk, to draw the analogy. And finally, another one that we deal with, cheap corn means that Americans are getting their sugar through high fructose corn syrup. And the average American consumes 152 pounds of sugar through high fructose corn syrup every year and 1 pound of honey. So the cows are dying, they're producing less milk, and everybody's drinking Mountain Dew. That would be the analogy. So does it still sound like a great place to start a business? Okay, some things that we haven't figured out from a business perspective, and maybe somebody in the room can help us with this. We need help with our online direct-to-consumer sales. Selling honey online, it can be done, and we do it, but not to the extent that we would like to. We would like to do more of it. It tends to be an impulse purchase at an event or in the grocery store, so people don't typically go online to buy honey, and we would like to change that. Regional and beyond sales and distribution, we're schlepping the honey to the stores ourselves. We would love to find somebody who could do sales for us and get distribution figured out for us. Video production, we want to build a YouTube following, build a YouTube channel, and we can increase our social media following that would all feed into our direct-to-consumer sales online with some help on video production. And the last one is really hard. Just as we get older, gravity keeps getting stronger and the boxes get heavier. I'll wrap it up there and I'll take questions. Thank you.
So thanks so much to Jeff and Chris for sharing their stories at the latest 1 Million Cups Rochester. The next 1 Million Cups will take place on Wednesday, April 3rd at 9 a.m. in the Blue Duck Kitchen event space. So the 1 Million Cups organizing team is always looking for strong local companies to tell their story at 1 Million Cups Rochester. To learn more, you can check out their website at 1millioncups.com/Rochester. That's 1 is in the number, millioncups.com/Rochester. If you can't make it to that event, we live stream 1 Million Cups Rochester on our Facebook page, so you can check it out there and you can ask questions of the presenters as well through our Facebook live stream. All right, so March is Women's History Month. This month we're launching our second installment of the Strong Women Creating Value series, telling the stories of 4 women leaders in the community. So last week we told the story of Christine Beach, the executive director of the Cabarra Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies. And you had to wait a little longer for it this week, but our next installment in the series is coming out tomorrow. So check it out on our website. You won't want to miss it. So to wrap up Women's History Month, we're holding a very important workshop, a brand new workshop called Mental Wellness, Goal Setting, and Time Management. So everyone knows we need to goal set. Everyone knows most of us need to have improved time management. So join us for just 90 minutes on a Sunday morning and sit down, better understand your priorities, and set some goals for the next year. So you can find this event on our Facebook page. We'll also put a link for the event in our show notes, and it's on Eventbrite as well. So this is a ticketed event, and ticket price will continue to go up. So get your ticket today. And don't miss out. Set some goals. Let's all work together to bring forward our best selves. All right, that's a wrap for the podcast today. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes so that you never miss the story of entrepreneurship and innovation coming out of Rochester, Minnesota. We'll see you here next week with a brand new episode.